We're working through some of the stitches that are built into this machine. You know there's 24 different stitches. And the next one we're going to do is actually the 3-thread rolled hem. So that's actually stitch number 8. So I'm going to show you how we can use the kind of onboard help here to make sure that we're setting it up correctly. And your manual with this little chart will also assist if this was a closer reference or if you didn't remember what number it is. But there are 3 stitches I use all the time. So 4 stitches, or the stitches, the first one is a 4-thread construction seam. So that's all 4 threads and 2 needles. Then we switch to my second most commonly used stitch, and that's a 3-thread narrow overlock. So we've actually taken out one of the needles already. And so we took out the left needle and we removed the thread from the machine. So never leave an unused thread on it. Trust me, if you leave the thread dangling, it comes back to visit its other friends. It gets lonely. So by taking out the needle, we have only the right needle in. And let's go ahead and, let's see here, let's go to our stitches here. And 1, 2, let's go the other way, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So once it shows the little picture, wait for just a second, and then it will bring up what we need to set up. So we have just the right needle. We have no purple because that's for cover stitch. We have removed the yellow thread completely. We have the green thread in play at a tension of 4. We have the blue thread, which is our upper looper, and it wants the tension to 4.5. And then we have the red one, which look, that tension is turned really, really tight, up to 6.5. And sometimes I go higher. So starting at 6.5, you might go to 7, might even go up to 8, depending on your threads that you're doing. Next, what we want to do is, of course, this one just says leave your knife fully engaged because that is part of the serging. Number 1 is set up for the cutting width. So we're going to take the knife and bring it all the way in as far as it'll go because usually a rolled hem is done on a very lightweight fabric. Next, we have the stitch finger. The stitch finger is this little white button, and the arrow is actually on screen pointing down or towards us, so we're going to pull it out. And when we're done, don't forget to push that in because that's the most common other problem people run into is they do a rolled hem and get up all excited because it's done, and they leave that out, and then when they go and switch everything back, they forget that that was out. And they don't get a really pretty stitch later. So stitch finger is removed, and there's a finger down at the needle that's actually been pulled out, so the stitches actually curl, which helps with the rolled hem. All right, stitch length, so that's going to be the top knob. I'm going to have to peek over here which way to go. There we go. All right, down to 1, stitch length to 1, and differential feed normal, we'll just leave that there, and everything else is at the same. So without doing anything else, let's just go ahead and see what type of stitch we're actually going to get on, and we'll do this on I picked a black fabric so you can really see. So pretty. All right, so here's what you get. What you're seeing rolling over the edge here is blue thread. Whatever you put in your upper looper or in the blue position, the first one we thread, is the color that's going to show not only on the front, but also on the back. It tucks its way around because we tighten that lower looper, and that's what makes it pull to the edge. Now, see where the red thread is? It's back there, but it could probably be pulled down a little bit more. I might go up just a hair more, and we'll see the difference if we see a difference in that the way it looks. So if I needed to have something that matched my fabric and I didn't have all the spools, maybe I have like something really specific, like a pink. If I had a couple, 2 spools at least, that could be very close, put the one that matches the most in the upper looper. You can wind a bobbin to put on the needle thread, by the way, and then put the one that might not match the most on the back because it's going to hide and tuck in. So see how much further we see blue? That's what I like for a nicer rolled hem. So a little bit more than this pulled over. I usually go up a little bit higher, tell you the truth. So that would be a place where you might like to change this setting and make it so when you see this, you're reminded to go to a higher setting. Now this is just with regular thread. And when we talk about using decorative threads, if you would put a decorative thread, something thicker, where it'll fill in more, or it's going to, anything from a metallic thread to a woolly nylon. One thing you're going to need to do, if it's a thicker thread, you will need to take that tension and reduce it down to allow for the thicker thread to go through this tension. Sometimes I might turn my lower looper tension tighter because that will help pull it around more to the back side. Because if it's thicker, bigger, bulkier, it's going to need a little help. Plus loosening this will help bring it around too. So play with those tensions. You also won't need your stitch lengths so close together. You don't want it piled up that it can't go through the machine. So usually your stitch length is maybe lengthened out maybe to 1.5, not so close, and it'll look beautiful. So have some fun. Again, this is probably the third most common stitch to use, kind of goes between second and third. A lot of people use a 4-thread construction seam and the rolled hem, and the 3-thread narrow overlock that I like to use kind of sometimes bumps to the third most commonly used stitch. So those are your stitches. Remember, when you're done, push that stitch finger back in and then put your needles back in if you're going back to a 4-thread. So have fun playing with the rolled hem.